Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Ask Dr. Zaino Live. Thank you all for being on here. We have 14 people logged into chat roll already, and that number's going up. And then that's about 1/4 of the amount of people that are probably watching live. So thank you all so much for being here again. It's Wednesday, 8 p.m. Every Wednesday. And if you're watching live for us, you'll see that there is what I just mentioned called a chat roll. I want you to log into that. That way you can post your questions live. We're going to get to them tonight. Go ahead. There's no questions in there right now, so go ahead and put any questions you have on practice, life, anything that would help you to get up to that next level. Make sure you've clicked all the social media links and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. And you'll see an image there that says the Influence Summit. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is today. It's basically it's going to be an awesome seminar in Chicago, or in the Chicago area, Saturday, September 17th. And as you can see on the buttons there, the DC tickets are $300. The student tickets are only $150. We'd love to see you there. Dr. Zaino is going to be there, and Roberto's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And we have Dr. Zaino here with us tonight. So what's up, Dr. Zaino?
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Cool.
All right, let's do this. Let's have a good show.
Cool. Let's start with the first question here. And it is, if a new patient refuses to write their goals down, parentheses, saying they're irritated, that it's private, they don't want to share my goals with anybody, did they just flunk the interview, or do you smooth the way to kind of bring them back on track a little bit?
Well, I think that's a really good opportunity to kind of connect with them and be like, here, it says, you're irritated and they're private, but, in order, whatever private goals you have, what would you say is the absolute thing you need in order to achieve those goals?
Right.
And save my health. And be like, and is that why you're here? And they're like, yes. And go, and you say, listen, I want to help you achieve those goals. And that's why we ask for them. That's why we know. If you want to just tell me verbally right now, but the thing is, I know that without your health or with the problems you have going on right now, how's it feel that you'll never be able to reach those goals? As personal and private, they're clearly private, they mean a lot to you because you just didn't want to write them down.
Yeah.
So do you understand? So what's going on? Do you want to get well? And we get people well here more than any other system or philosophy. We're looking at cause of problems. We're looking at the cause, so you don't have to live the life you're living and suffering and being on drugs or in pain and medication. Your body could heal itself. We're the only ones who are going to teach you how to do that. And then you could reach whatever goals you want. So I just want to know, before we get started, is there going to be resistance in allowing us to help you get well?
Right. No, I think that's good. And I think like the way you're saying it, I can hear it in your voice. You're coming in with a little bit of like love and a little bit of curious. I'm curious why you don't want to sell it. And I think at that moment, you either bond with that person and they put down their guard, because if that person has a little bit of a guard up. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have said that. They wouldn't do that. Most people won't go against the grain like that unless they already have a little bit of guard up. But if you come out there, you feel like you're melting that a little bit, then maybe, you go on, they become a great patient. Or if you don't melt that, like so there's some people that come in and they just got this guard up, and I don't know why they're here. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably here because somebody else is making them be here or something like that. And we may not be able to get their guard down. But I think that's a little bit of a flag right there in the beginning, or am I wrong?
No, that's 100%. There's something up.
Yeah.
And yes, they are not going through a good interview right now.
Right.
But Dr. Gunning used to always say, if something approaches it, he goes, what don't you believe or trust about this office? What don't you believe or trust?
Come at it like I'm just wondering.
Just curious.
Yeah. No, it's good. Because it's not about you, it's about them. So it's like, I'm just here to help you. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's not my problem.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Good answer. I like it. All right. So this one came up a little bit last week that I tried to answer on kind of what I do. It says, do you have care plans for multiple family members? What are the care plans for children? And what are the discounts you do for additional family members?
Well, I personally, the care plan is the first family member is the full price, and every family member is just 10% off that full price. So the second family member is 10% off the first, the third is 10% off the first. Like it just, the price just goes down 10%. And if you have 5 kids, it's the same price. So, because if they're a baby, I thought about it, like if you're a baby, an adjustment to what's more important and more valuable, the adjustment to the baby or the adjustment to the mom? What's more valuable and what's more important?
I don't know, man. They're both important, but I'd say the
Yeah,
baby even.
no, they're both important. You're right. So why would I charge less for a baby adjustment? Because they're smaller people,
Yeah,
right? I
sure.
mean, I'm still using my expertise, my knowledge, my experience, my philosophy, art, and science to remove interference, to allow something, some life to flow at 100% as close to possible in that child's body. Yeah, that's an adjustment. Yeah, they might not do rehab in the office. Okay. So I could see how their care plan goes a little down. Yes, they might not be seen 3 times a week. Okay. But the adjustment price is always the same
Yeah.
because it's an adjustment. An adjustment is adjustment. If a child wants to stand on the vibe plates and wears a head weight, if they want to do that, it's $15, just like everybody else pays. So, I realize like when comes the age where it's like, okay, now you're not a baby and now the adjustment is now worth more.
Right.
An adjustment is an adjustment. So,
That's
but
good.
I will give like the 10% off. It doesn't go 10, then 20, then 30, before it's just 10%, 10%, 10%, because if they go when their kids need braces, the dentist ain't going to cut them a deal. It's going to be like
Right.
7,500, 7,500, 7,500. They'll
Yep.
go, what? Because why would they say, listen, the braces are 7,500. Why am I going to make them 6,000? Because it's your second kid. Because I could get someone else's kid in here that's going to pay full price, full fee.
Yeah. No, that's true. All right. We actually have some live questions in here. I just want to express my deepest gratitude for what you have helped me accomplish. I'll be eternally grateful for your contribution. Much appreciated. Actually, it's not a question, it's a comment. It was a great comment. And a great answer to that first question. All right.
Thanks,
Let's see. So if you guys, by the way, I want to encourage everyone, if you have questions, you'll see below the video, you can scroll down, enter your live question into the chat there, and we'll definitely get to it. Let's see. I have another one here. All right. So this was a question that a guy was asking. Why do you verify insurance if you don't take it? And I think we covered this maybe on one of the other episodes.
No, great question. Real simple. We do it because it's one barrier we don't have to deal with anymore, because people are going to always go and see, well, what's my insurance cover? And we're out of network. So we check on their out of network benefits and then we provide them with a super bill. But people are going to want to know, hey, yes, we will verify insurance, and we do. And they may or may not have out of network benefits. And so we take care of all that for the patient. It's an unnecessary evil. I would love to just say, hey, listen, we're all cash and this and that. But people then, they're like, well, I'm still going to call my insurance company. So we just said, hey, we'll just verify it for them. And, insurances may pay $100, $200, whatever it is, or nothing. But it doesn't matter. Our fee is our fee. They know that.
Yep.
But this is just, hey, this is maybe a rebate. It's almost like a rebate. You may get it, but our fees are our fee. But, and then by the time they're at that point, we already really went over how insurance can't dictate your health to be well. So.
Right.
A great question. No, absolutely. I definitely put it in there as one of those, like when you guys, for instance, to be a chiropractor, there's just a lot of crap we got to deal with and jump through the hoops just to do it, whether it be in school, whether it be the board, all this stuff. All this stuff that if you really broke it down, it means nothing about helping people. It's just paperwork and garbage, right? So when you really look at it, like, back in the day, the best chiropractors came out of a 4-month school. It was just philosophy and learn how to adjust. And so over the years, it becomes a 4-year degree and all this other stuff. So it just becomes one of those things in life where, we'll verify it. It's part of the job, because my main goal is to take any type of resistance away so that person could get to the doctor's report. So whether that be, we're just going to make our exams across the board $40 or $150 to make it easy for someone to come in. Great. I want to make sure that when it comes to, being able to truly educate that person so they can see their problem, I want to take any barrier or I'm not going to do it until I talk to my insurance company. So if you hear something, if I hear an objection, I'll do whatever it takes to get the end result. So that became, I would even use the term a necessary evil to do and hire for, to get the job done, the end result.
Right on. Well, very cool. Well, everyone who is on live, again, below, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see a link. It says the Influence Summit. That's a seminar in Chicago that is available. And then, Dr. Zaino, if you want to tell them maybe a little bit about what you're going to be talking about there, or what that is.
Absolutely. The Influence Summit, it is a once in a lifetime event, because it was really, myself and Dr. Roberto, we were, he is, I mean,
He's honorary.
He is an honorary doctor. Basically, the whole thing is about influencing. And my personal talk is going to be mindset of a closer. What makes a closer a closer? What makes someone be able to persuade and lead people? I'll go over the exact formula itself that no matter where you could go from a person who's just doing good stuff to an amazing, great closer in all you do. And it's a lot more than just chiropractic. A closer, we're always selling ourselves. We're always closing. We're always trying to have people see things the way we see it. And it's more communication skills. And then Roberto's going to go in and do his whole influenceology and communication skills. He's worked with so many chiropractors now that he really has his fingers on the pulse of what made people tick, what made people buy, what made people get it, what made people confused. So when you bring us together, it's a very powerful seminar. Plus, Dr. Ashley Oshner is going to be talking about his new program, Go. He'll be talking about that. Now, this is something where you could be you're the main primary health professional in the corporate arena. I think that's huge. So, we have Exxon here. We have Exxon Mobil here, headquarters. So, you become, in the corporations, the main person they go to when it comes to health. They go through you. And so he developed an amazing program, top notch. Everything Ashley does is top notch and over the top shelf. And he'll be going over just how to be able to do that and be the leader in corporations around your town. I just think it's a great, great thing. It's not a wellness program where you actually become the health leader. You become the person people write or go to when it comes to the health of them and their family. So it's just going to be a great day. We're just one day in Chicago, right, Tabor? One day?
Yeah. I think it's just September 17th.
I'm traveling a couple of times, so that's a one-day thing. So I'm going to be in and out. So definitely, if you can make it, if you're in that area, actually do it. Students, I believe the price is $150 for students, so they cut that.
That's right.
50%. And I actually fought that. I thought it should have been $300 across the board because I was like, I guarantee if you spend $300, you'll get your money's worth out of it. So if you're going to go, or if you have an opportunity to go, I definitely do it. Or you have friends or colleagues in that area, definitely tell them to go. We'll sell out, definitely. But so I want to make sure that those that do want to go have an opportunity to do so. And it will be it's a once in a lifetime thing. I did the COPS last year by myself. This year we're doing it with Roberto. So, when Roberto and I get together, it's rare occasions, but it's powerful.
Yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. Well, we do have another question here. It says, being in chiro school, I've let myself pick up a lack of confidence, skeptic attitude. How do I wash away this BS while being, quote unquote, in the lion's den all day, every day?
I know, man. You're just tired. You're a little worn out. That's what happens, So I don't want to say. I don't. What did he say? Did you use the word skeptic?
Yeah, he said he's developed a little bit of a skeptic attitude. He can tell.
And what was the other adjective? Skeptic and.
Let's see. Lack of confidence, skeptic attitude.
100%. All right. So skeptic means you're scared of something deep down. All right. You're just afraid. That's it. You're scared of making the wrong decision. And that's where your lack of self-confidence comes from. And the reason why this is all happening because you're tired. You're running on your RPMs are through the roof.
Yep.
One of my teachers in chiropractic school says it's 3.5 years of hell, but it's a lifetime of heaven, after that. So that's the way you gotta look at it. Listen, just 3.5 years, like I told you before, get through the hoops. This is how
Yep.
you get it back. You're not going to get it back in a textbook or passing an orthopedic exam in school. You go to school to pass. You jump through the hoops, learn the system, learn how to be a good test taker. I never bought a book in school. You know why? Because I knew whatever the teacher talked about, that's what they're going to test on.
Yep.
Because if they like that part of the Krebs cycle, that's what I'm doing. If they want to talk about this part of anatomy, boom, I know it's going to be on the test. So you just learn learn the system. Like, in fact, I would actually say that the greatest education I got at Parker had nothing to do with Parker. It had everything to do with me learning how to beat the system, how to become efficient, how to not cut corners, but cut, needless junk to get the job done.
Yep.
And I was still a 3.8 student, but I knew, hey, listen, I'm not going to spend all this money on books because I could read all this book, but the teacher's going to just teach what they talk about. I'll take notes for what they love. I'm not going to cram before the night. I learned how to beat the system. That's what it was. Not in a bad way.
Yep.
I just learned how to be efficiency. And how that helped me in chiropractic? Well, because we took the regular model of chiropractic, and then I was like, well, how can we make this better? How can we make it more efficient? How can we work smarter and not harder? How can we just see things outside the box? So I think chiropractic school was great for putting us in an experience. When you guys have 10 practicals or 10 tests, you got to know in 5 days, and then you got to study for entrance and all this other stuff. It's acting. Half of it is acting in school, right?
Yep.
Set up. I mean, it's all acting. It's all fluff. But you know
Yep.
what? You get through it and you find a way to do it. But it's tiresome. It wears you out. I mean, I remember in school, some of my friends, they started smoking because they were in chiropractic school. They
Oh my
started
goodness.
drinking. They started because some of them, they had, they were, going to the bathroom and expelling mucus. I mean, because they were stressed out. So it's no joke. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
All the stuff you got to go through. And what gets me so frustrated is chiropractors come out, the ones that really think they're book smart and they passed all the tests and that they think that they deserve and they're entitled to something. But I'm like, listen, your education entitled to teach you absolutely nothing on how to run a business.
No.
So it's so funny, Dave. I'm like, so what experience do you have to run a business or open a practice or be productive in a practice that you would want $7,000 a month and want weekends off?
Right.
Like, no way. You do what you got to do. You get through that school, and so whoever wrote that, get your doctorate, get the diploma, do what you got to do, and so now you got to recharge. So now you're responsible outside of school recharging. That's when
Yep.
I would definitely start getting to green books, start listening to audios, go to seminars that are not continuing education or modules. I mean, don't go to a neuro diplomat seminar for 16 hours and blow your brains out. Go to something that's inspiring. Go to a Cal Jam. Take a
Yep.
road trip to Palmer. The homecoming. Do something where you got
Yep.
some really good speakers, and they just kindle the fire again. You need that because your
Yep.
energy is still going to be expelled. But you know what? You can be tired as hell, but when you're inside, when your inner spirit jumps up, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you get focused again. So the skeptic and confidence issue is all because you're tired and you're scared and on what decision is next, right? When you come out of
Yeah.
school, what the hell am I going to do? Where am I going to work? How about that? Your senior year, you're graduating, but where are you going to work? What are you going to do? How
Yep.
am I going to pay my loans? All this stuff. It's so stressful. I will tell you right now, school was tougher than practice. Like practice is cake for me, and it's been cake for me. It's a lot of work, but I mean, school is just doing a lot of stuff that was useless. It really was, Taylor.
Yeah, it is. And I think your advice is probably the best that I have
Yeah.
ever heard is to make sure that you're following the people who are excited about chiropractic, because I've been exposed to some of our like our state, you know groups or whatever, or some of these groups that they're very, very, oh my goodness, the people who are part of them are just drained, and they're hating their business. They're hating their chiropractic business because they don't understand the principle. They don't understand that it could be absolutely amazing. And then when you go to a Cal Jam, you go to a, what are those, what are the ones that Dr. Fred came from out of,
Oh,
that
DE.
were like, yeah, DE,
And then
like,
you got New Beginnings.
oh, New Beginnings,
And you
exactly, man. Like,
got EPOC, right?
go to
Don't they have those
those
things?
places, hang out with those chiropractors that are fired up and loving life, and then you'll start being fired up and loving life. But you hang around with the chiropractors who are hating it and just want to get out and want to be medical doctors, you're going to hate it too. You know, I don't care if you're in school or out of school, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I had Whitney, and Whitney wasn't in school. So, that was my best friend to kind of pick me up when I needed it for sure. But it's because it's tough, because if you're in school and all your friends are in school, you're all going through the same bullshit. It's tough. So what do you
Yeah,
go out and you drink and you do some reckless things to forget about it for an hour or two? It just, I'm just telling it
yeah.
just get through school. No one ever asked me my GPA. I think my doctors were asked once or twice. A patient wanted to see their their diploma. I never been asked that. Yeah, no one cares your GPA. Just get through school,
Right.
learn to
Yeah.
work the system, figure it out, and that will be the best experience you'll have. Just pass those tests, do what you got to do.
Well, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad that this the person asking this question is already doing what we're saying. This is Ryan. He was at the CTL seminar. He may actually be coming down to visit my office, and maybe even Dr. Zaino's or something. And he's hanging out with the right people. But I think he asked that question, and I'm glad you did, because there's probably dozens of students on right now thinking the exact same thing. They needed to hear some answers to that question as well. But Ryan, you're doing awesome, man. You're hanging out with the right people. Just keep your chin up, and then keep trucking and keep going forward.
Yeah, there's no
So
there's no easy way through it, guys. Just do it. I mean, everybody
yeah.
online. I mean, like I even forgot half the bull. I think I forgot half the nonsense I had to go through. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I went to Life. They lost their accreditation, and then I had to
Mm,
pick up and move, and I lost a lot of my credits, but it was all worth it at the end.
yeah.
It always will be. I met Whitney. I came to Dallas. I came to Texas. I never would have been here if it wasn't
Yep.
for that school dropping. So, and now they're doing
Yeah.
good.
What's that?
Now life is doing good now. So,
Man, the best advice I ever got was from my chiropractor, that he told me to go to chiropractic school. When I was kind of worried about borrowing all that money, leaving town, and he said, just go, because he was one of those chiropractors who are excited about what he did. And he said, go, Tabor, you're going to love it. I don't care how much money you have to borrow. Just put your head down and get through it, and then you'll be part of the greatest profession ever. And then he was right, because that's what he spoke and that's what he believed.
I mean, it really is. And it's just a shame that sometimes school puts this blanket of clay over you, and it kind of just starts to smolder the fire a little bit. And you just come out in fear. Oh, I
Yeah.
got to do this right. I got to do that right. I got to be, and you just become you become like a medical thinker, a technician, and you're not really a healer, you know.
Yeah.
And but really, you were a healer. That's why you went there. That's why you called for chiropractic school. But it really changes people. You come out like an empty robot, and
Right.
you're like, oh, that's, you look at every X-ray, and every X-ray, you think there's, you know, sarcoplasma, with some crazy disease that you learn from, and it really, just when you shake that off and just stick to the principle, that's when you start to see lives change. It really is. Because then you get too heavy. It's like you play medical doctor. You're trying to
Yep.
diagnose. You're trying to. I mean, what's freedom? When someone asks you, "Well, how do you think I got my problem?" and you're like, "I don't know. I don't know why you have a headache, but I know there's interference and there's pressure on your brainstem. I'm going to make that adjustment, and your body's going to do what it needs to do to heal itself. Whether it be, right? I mean, how do we know or what the headache's coming from? I'm not going to
Right.
guess, but I
Yep.
will look at your spine. If there's subluxation, I'll remove it.
Yep.
It might make your headache worse. Who knows what your body's doing, but your body's doing the right thing. And who am I to say and override your body's most amazing intelligent wisdom that built the entire structure that person down to every cell and it's keeping it alive. Yeah, I
Yep.
can't match up to that. So I just know my role. I was like, wow. School kind of
Yep.
makes you, school gives you the God complex because you come
Mm-hmm.
out and you feel like you have to carry the world and you have to have the say and you have to figure it out. You don't have to figure out anything. You just need to figure out who you are and what you're called to do. And then all that other stuff, that medical stuff, it sounds techy, it sounds big, fancy words, but at the end of the day, what is it? You're adjusting subluxation. That's what it is.
That's right.
And if your patients are getting well and you're doing all these things, because guess what? You're removing subluxation somehow, whether you know it or not. So if you don't even realize you're removing it, like they're healing because interference is being removed. So, I could push someone down the stairs and it may help them, right? So, just like the Homer Simpson, that thing, you push them over a trash can, like, yeah, I'm better. So, when you deliberately know that when you remove the interference, that person's going to get up better. That changes your life. It really does change your practice. And you see things differently and you relax. Your confidence comes back. You're not skeptic
Yep.
anymore. Because you realize the reason why you're not skeptic is this. It's to be expected that not everybody's going to get it or believe it. The first sermon in the Christian church, the records show that it was there was thousands of people. After the person preached, there was people that were perplexed. It means they didn't know what the hell. They're just like, what is this? What is this message? There's people that mocked. There's people that laughed. There's people that was confused. They didn't know what was going on. They literally walking around, I don't know what's going on. And there was believers, right? Same
Yep.
message, different results in the crowd. So I think with chiropractors, we tend to, and I did for the longest time, I want to know how to manipulate and persuade the non-believer, the skeptic, the laugher, the mocker, the perplexed. How can I say something or say that right line or that right word to grab them to change their mind frame so they become a believer? But it really is a mystery of the universe. And I realize that it's to be expected. It's just part of life. The reason why people mock in your doctor's report or when you talk about chiropractic, because they're mockers, right? They're the people on Facebook that voice their significance by typing bullshit and just,
Yep.
so they're the mockers. So why would you expect anything less from a mocker? If you say liars shouldn't lie, well, that's naive. What do liars do? They lie. I mean, that's what they do. Laughers
Yep.
laugh, perplexed people are perplexed. But believers, that's what in the first sermon preached, the speaker was just after the believers. There was 3,000 of them, so that was a pretty good day. 3,000 that believed, but they only spoke for the believers. They didn't hold an extra class. And here's the cool thing: when they were done speaking, they moved on. They left, meaning that they didn't hang around. They didn't answer questions from the skeptics. They didn't debate anything. They didn't hold extra classes to really get the perplexed people and the confused people to really kind of understand a little bit more. They're like, listen, here's the message, and we're out. And the believers followed, and the other ones that were mockers and laughing and skeptic and perplexed, they didn't go back for them because they were. So when you go in for a talk, or I realize when I go in for a dinner, I'm here to speak the message, and I'm here to light up the believers. They're the ones that light up. Boom. All right, and come follow me. Let's go. And all the other people that want to talk about this and their insurance, it's just like, these are the believers. We got to move on. And that's
Yep.
the same thing. So I think when it comes to that chiropractic principle, you will run into as long as you're doing your part, the huge variable is the person. And yeah, you could probably, with communication skills and persuasive skills, get someone to maybe sign the dotted line, right, in your office for the first couple visits. But if they're not a deep down a believer, they're going to quit or they're
Yeah.
going to be trouble. So wouldn't it be cool to just have dinners every couple of weeks or talk to groups of people and speak your message in love and not be concerned with the reason why people don't get it, but just be concerned with the believers, and the believers come in your office and you only accept the believers who get it the way you teach it. Because I guarantee everybody on this line, if I told you explain to me chiropractic, you would do an amazing job of the simple principle of it. It's not really a rocket science at all, and it's not really. It doesn't even have to be polished. It's so simple. And but I think we get caught up going, well, I said it, but how come these people didn't get it? Because they're people who don't get it.
Yeah.
They're people who don't make decisions. That's who they are. How about the 3 people that did get it? We're not talking about them. We always talk about the people who didn't get it.
Yeah.
So if you just start shifting your focus to the people who get it, you won't be frustrated. You won't be skeptic. But you get there. You get there when you're tired. When I get tired, same stuff happens. Absolutely. So I'm with you.
Man, well said, dude. I'm going to leave it at that, and I think that's a great way to end the show tonight. We're getting right at the 8:30 mark, and I want to thank everyone for being on here live tonight. We had a great crowd. Dozens and dozens of chiropractors are still on live right now, and we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you being here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And guys, go out there and have an amazing rest of your week. Love your patients, and just share what we do to more people. So, Dr. Zaino, anything you want to say closing?
No, that's it, guys.
All
Have
right.
a great evening, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Good night, guys. Have a good one.